You guys, menopause is already hell. And then, boom, out of nowhere, you start looking at your relationship and asking yourself, is this even working for me anymore? Because menopause is a way of clearing the fog. And sometimes that fog is your relationship. To talk a little more about this, we have Laurie Gerber with us today. She is one of your favorite hosts on Menopause Love Lounge, and she is joining me. And Laurie's a dating and relationship coach for women over 50. And she's also an expert in the Handel method. She helps women stop settling to choose differently in love and build relationships that truly support who they are now. I love that. She also has a very real take on how menopause becomes a relationship wake up call. Laurie, hello, my dear.
Yo. That's right. So menopause removes the buffer, right? Like it removes our ability to people please. It removes our ability to hold it in, to not speak up. It removes our ability to placate, to allow, to accept, to go along with. And so
Yeah.
it's not a coincidence. People get divorced, people break up, people want something different in relationships that they stay in.
Mm.
Or if they're single, how they're looking and what they're looking for really changes.
I love that. I love that you jumped right into that because, yes, that is what's at the forefront of our minds. It's like, what the frick is going on with this menopause and how it's relating to everything else. So, how is perimenopause for you personally?
Still
Tell
in
us.
it, far as I know, and in fact, it's the great mystery, right? Is like, will I get my period again? I don't know. When will it
It's
come?
such a
I don't know.
surprise.
How long will it last? I don't know. How will it feel? I don't know. Is it even a period? It's so different and weird. So yeah, it's the answer is question mark.
Question mark. How old were you, do you think, when you started going into it?
Well, since you and I started chatting in Menopause Love Lounge, I have had to rethink every symptom I've had since I was 35. Like I'm now like, what was going on when I couldn't sleep for a year and a half? You know?
Yes.
So
Yes,
yeah, I have
absolutely,
no
because
idea.
in one of the episodes, we were all kind of going, "When are we really in menopause?" Right? And we kind of established it and got down to the fact that that is the 12 months when you don't have your period. So you were like, "Oh,
Yeah,
wait a second. I think
right.
I've been in perimenopause," which is, I think, confusing for a lot of people. We don't really
But I
know
also yeah,
when.
I also thought I was just having a mental breakdown, right? Like I didn't
Yeah,
think, especially in my young 40s, when I was having a mental breakdown, I was like,
you can distinguish.
I certainly did not call it perimenopause. I certainly did not call it that. So now I've had to rethink everything. So I'm
You've
not a
read
good, it's not a good question for me because I don't have I have a very clear answer about dating. I do not have a clear answer about my
Yes,
own
yes.
perimenopause story.
But the things you were going through, you said were only really happening when you couldn't kind of wrap your mind around it or manage your mind, right? So once you kind of do you feel like now you have a little bit of a better grip on it?
Oh, that's such a good question, actually, because there was one moment in what I will now call my perimenopause journey where I went to my gynecologist and she started to suggest that I was in perimenopause or in menopause. And because I was on the pill and I wasn't getting my period, because I
Mhm.
didn't take the placebos, I only took the pill all the time. She was like, this is that, right? Like, this is the thing that everyone's been talking about. It's happening to you now. But at the time, I was experiencing no particular symptoms. I was just in my yearly exam. And
Yeah.
then as soon as she said that, I went home and started having all of these symptoms. Now, I also came off the pill, right? So
Okay.
I was having true hormonal shifts, but also she got in my head and I went down this insane rabbit hole of like, the thing is happening to me. And the more I read about it, the more I felt all the things. And
Yeah.
then yes, there were hormonal changes and then hormonal rebalancing. But what I remember very clearly was I talked to my coach and was like, "I'm not good. This is not good." And she was like, "Don't you remember you have control over your mind. You have control over what content you
Mm.
consume. You have control over how scared you get. You have control over literally the thoughts you're consenting to. Do you really want to go down this path?" And that jogged me back into authorship of my life, one of my main principles that I teach. And
Mhm.
all of a sudden I recontextualized the symptoms. Like I was like, "Oh, hot flashes, they're hilarious." Like
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
bond me to other women. And up at night, good. I get time to myself. I can think. Vagina hurts, cool. I get to keep talking to my husband about lubes and what I need now and what I want now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just reclaimed all the symptoms I was experiencing. Things settled down. And
Yeah.
I stopped educating myself.
Freaking out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I love that. I love you just went through the timeline because I think that's where people get really stuck, right? They don't know what to do. And so I love that you kind of went back to, wait a second, like this is not going to completely change who I am and how the way I normally think and do things. So let me get back to that grounded place and then look at it with a different lens. So I love that you did that. So if we're kind of talking about how you work with women and their dating when, over 50, why do you think menopause changes relationships so much? Why do they just suddenly feel like these relationships are outdated? What's up with
The first
that?
thing I said is real, right? When estrogen leaves,
Yeah.
a lot of our ability to accommodate leaves. But more interestingly, we're no longer in the game to find a husband to procreate with, right? It is
Mm,
just a different game entirely. And that is why I particularly like working with women over 50, because I teach the head, the heart, and the hoo ha. You have to satisfy the head, what's practical, your heart, what feels good, and your hoo-ha, what turns you on. You have to
mhm,
have all 3 in a mate, and for so many women over 50, in order to have children, they picked someone who had 1 or 2 of the 3 and not all 3. And by the
mm,
time they're over 50, they're either over it, or they are divorced already, or they wanna get a divorce, or
yeah,
someone has passed away, right? There's all kinds of transitions. It's time to rethink what they want in terms of all 3 ages, not just 1 or 2 of them. So that's what's so
mm,
different post 50. You don't have to sell out for a family.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, in your opinion, do you think that menopause tends to create problems in your relationships or just expose them, would you say?
Ooh, that's such a leading question.
I didn't
Yes.
emphasize anything, did I?
Yes, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're not sure you want to go on with the person you're with, or you're not sure what you're really looking for next. That's where I come in to teach you to listen to your head, the logical part, your
Mm,
heart, how you feel, and your hoo-ha, what turns you on, and to reclaim all
mhm,
3. When it is for many of us, if we were career women, we had children, we sustained a marriage for 10, 20, 30 years, it is now the first time we're like, "Wait a second, who am I and what do I want?" My kids are
mhm.
finally out of the house, or almost out of the house, or at least driving, like, "Oh, hi again. Nice to meet you. Who are
Who
you
are
again? What's
you?
your name?" Like, it's such a great moment.
Yes. Which one of the 3 H's do you think that women struggle with the most? And if you'll just explain them to us once
Yeah,
again, so they're very clear
yeah,
on those.
yeah. So this works whether you're in a relationship or not. When you look at your
Mhm,
head criteria, it's to do with the obvious intellectual compatibility, like, can we have conversations? Can we help each other sort through problems? But it's also things like health and finances and where you live, and do you want the same things, and does your dream
mhm,
contradict your partner's, or vice versa? It's like very practical logistical stuff. And people there's actually 2 trends that are really popular. One is forsaking head and one is forsaking hoo-ha, but I'll get to that in a minute.
okay.
Heart is, how does it feel? Heart is all about how much honesty is there? How much transparency? How much humor? How much connection? Can we take care of each other's feelings, right?
Mhm.
Feelings are not facts. Feelings are not
Yeah.
logistics. Feelings are this weird and wild thing we have. And can we care about each other's and take care of those? That's the heart part. And then
Mhm.
hoo-ha is chemistry or attraction, and that really changes over time too, because our hormones change and we are no longer hormonally programmed to want to procreate, which means like the
Yeah.
juice, everything's flowing differently. And same with men. They also, even though they stay, I think in general, a little more desirous of sex than women,
Yeah.
they're still slowing down and their hormones are changing too. And what their
Mhm.
penises can do is changing too. So
Mhm.
that really hoo-ha really changes. What you're looking for in hoo-ha when you're 20, 30, 40 is very different than in, 50, 60, and 70. And I
So
think
true.
creativity and open-mindedness and time you're willing to spend, and like all that starts to become more interesting and important over 50. But you
Yeah.
also asked me, what are the most common sellouts? And I think it's the most common sellout is probably, I like the sex and the attention. I like the
Mm.
hoo-ha. So I will sell
Mhm.
out on practicality, or and that's probably the most often, is like, I like the heart and the hoo-ha. I'm getting my
Yep.
emotional needs met and my sexual needs met. I'm sure they'll move eventually, or I'm sure they'll eventually sort that thing out with their ex, or their kid, or their money. right? Like,
Yeah.
and or even their ambition in life, right? Like, I'm sure that I'll sort out. I can't give up this.
Yeah.
This is as good as I've ever had it. I can't hold out for all of it. And the
Mhm.
other is that kind of the reverse where you, and especially over 50, it's like, is sex really that important anymore? I don't have to make kids,
Mm.
right? It's not, it's fine. I shouldn't care. And so you are going against your biology there by being like, I shouldn't
Yeah.
care. It's called friendship, right? Head
Yeah.
and heart, that's friendship, right? Like, and you're just like, can it just be friendship? And yeah, I mean, like, if that's what you want, if you want friendship, it can be friendship. But the
Yeah.
distinguishing feature of a partner is that you, best case scenario, you have a whirlwind romance. Worst case scenario, you give each other physical pleasure. Right? Like, it is the thing that differentiates a partnership from a romantic partnership from a friendship. So
Yeah.
to give that up because you don't think you can have all three, to me, is just a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And when we're talking about perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, do you think those 3 H's, should we be thinking about those right now, whichever phase we're in? I know you deal with over 50, but, should everybody be thinking about that right now and decide whether those are gonna save their relationship or help them leave the wrong one? Should they be
Yeah.
thinking to that extent?
I mean, you're so right. It is never a bad time to go, "What does my head want? What does my heart want? What does my hoo-ha want?"
Get them
And
aligned.
this is what
Mhm.
I created this free webinar. It's 70 minutes long, and it literally takes you through every head criteria, every heart criteria, every hoo-ha criteria.
Mm.
You pick your own 5 to 10, so you can be like, and it works. I mean, it's geared towards daters, but
Yeah.
it works whether you're in a relationship or not, because it is not just like you go and look at your finances once a year with your financial planner, right? Or you
Yeah.
go to the doctor once a year and you do your blood work. Of
Yeah.
course, you want to go to your love life and go do your blood work. Like, go see, like,
Yeah. Check it out.
what are my goals? What am I? And then if you're in a relationship, right, that's actually your
Mhm.
blood work, right?
Mhm.
If you're in a relationship, you go, how is this stacking up? And if it's not
Mm.
stacking up, is it, ask yourself again, is this a fantasy or is this a dream? Right? A dream is a
Yeah.
stretch but doable. A dream is something you can have. You can improve communication, you can improve intimacy, you can improve your sex life. Those are doable. But can you
Mm.
make an alcoholic not be an alcoholic if they don't want to change? No. Right?
No.
There's some things that are not things that you can improve. So you have to ask yourself, is it really important to me? Is it something I can improve? Does my partner want to do that with me? And then
Mhm.
if the answer is yes, there are action steps you can take
Mm.
to improve it. And if the answer is no, my partner's not interested, and yes, it's important to me, then we start to work on, okay. And there's a whole, step by step process for
Yeah.
uncoupling
So
in a way that's like the least painful,
yeah.
because there's a lot of people who've done it and have learned from
Yep.
their mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are all great tips. Great tips. So I have a 5-question little lightning round based on what you know and menopause. So just give me what comes to mind first. One thing menopause makes women stop tolerating.
Nonsense comes to mind. Anything that's not important.
Yeah. Because as foggy as our brains are, they do get clear too,
They
clear on
do.
the things they
It's like
need to be.
we do care about the important things. We
We
don't
do.
care about everything else, and we're not gonna
So
fake it
true.
anymore. Yeah.
So true. Number 2, a sign a relationship has expired.
Mm. One or both don't wanna do the work.
Yeah. When they're just checked out.
Simple. It's just, you can check someone back in if they want it, right? But if you
Yeah.
check them back in and they're like, "No, I don't want to," you can't fix that, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't work against someone who doesn't want to, because it's
Yeah.
hard work to revive something. It's hard
Sure.
work to make something great. Anything, right? Like, we're not even impressed if it's not hard work. So if someone doesn't wanna do it, that's the sign.
Yeah. I love it. Number 3, one belief women over 50 must drop about love.
That it can't happen for them, period. If you don't believe it exists, it doesn't.
So true. So true. Number 4, one thing that becomes more attractive about women in midlife.
Only one.
You can give me 2 if you have 2.
It's so good that we know ourselves. Specifically, we
Mm,
know what we need and we know what our body's like, and we're just less shy to say it. That's
yeah.
such a bonus for men, not just women.
Yes. Yes. So good. And number 5, Love after menopause can be blank, can be what
Anything you want it
you
to
want it to
be.
be.
Enlivening, awakening, youthful, energizing, mysterious, exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit about leaning into it. I mean, we've got all of these things. We talk on Menopause Love Lounge podcast all the time about the symptoms and all of the that we're all dealing with. If you lean into it, it is what it is. We're all going through it. There's ways, as we've talked on there about supplements and things you can do talking to your practitioner and getting yourself into a better place. Yeah. Just
Lean
it'll
in.
be okay.
Right,
It'll be
it's such a good point, like, it's either this or you're dead, right? Like, you're
yeah.
gonna go through it or you're dead, like, those are your it's
Take your
like
pick.
birthdays. How about you just celebrate your birthday instead of hating it? Because it's happening anyway, either way.
Yeah.
It's a really
Absolutely.
good point. Yeah.
So good. Well, we know that menopause may shake everything up, but sometimes it does clear the path to love and life that actually fits for you. And that's a really powerful place to be.
Yeah.
So I am asking all the women in this series of one little question. Lori, menopause is hell, but it's also an invitation to what?
To the new you.
To the
To
new you.
yeah,
Boom.
to complete reinvention. Did everyone say that? Or
No, everybody's different answers. You got to watch to
everyone's
find out
different?
what everybody else says. So
Okay,
good.
love it. I'll have
So
to watch.
I know. So here is the question, you guys. Would you start over in love after menopause if it meant finding something better? We want to hear from you. You can DM us. You guys, we're on Instagram
You
and
might wanna
TikTok.
DM. You know, put that in the public.
Let anybody see that. But we'll see it and we'll answer you. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Menopause Love Lounge, and we would love to hear from you guys. And if you like hearing what Lori has to say, you can find her on Menopause Love Lounge podcast. She also has her own podcast called
Love at any age.
I Love It. You guys can find both of those anywhere. So, yay, check it out. Thank you so much, Lori, for joining me. Peace
Yay.
out.
Peace out.